Hello and welcome to the OCVarsity Gridiron Extra Show. I'm your host, Jonathan Khamis. Joining me, as always, to my left, Steve Fryer, to my right, Dan Albano. We are here at the Grand in Long Beach, just finishing up the CIF luncheon. How was your meal, Dan?
Outstanding. You know what? But better than the meal, Jonathan, was the company of these finalists. That is what it's these are special teams and special young men, and it's a pleasure to be here covering this event.
Shout out to the kitchen staff. I had some good chicken. All right, guys. We're talking about the Southern Division and East Valley on the show. We will start it off with a Southern Division where I think it's a surprise, guys. Garden Grove going down. They've been perennially kind of the elite in this division. Brea Olinda taking on Canyon for the Southern Division Championship. Canyon won last week. Their last appearance was in the CIF final was 1979. These two teams actually met earlier this season, Dan, so it's kind of funny when you get two teams that meet for the championship game. It's hard to beat a team twice, but Canyon could be a team of destiny.
Yeah, we talked to Coach Ogus, Canyon coach, about that very thing. It's a big motivation for Brea, obviously, and we got to give a shout out to Zach Arnold, was the middle linebacker who had 18 total tackles last week against Garden Grove. That was the Brea middle linebacker, had a great game. But this is a big motivating factor for Brea because they played so poorly. They want to avenge that 26-0 loss to Canyon. So Canyon's got to find out. They're going to have to dig deep and find the motivation to win win this game. But the grudge matches, and there's a few of those this week. In the West Valley, even the Pac-5, and so this is a big grudge match. And as sports writers, we love grudge matches.
Charlie Trainer from Canyon High School had 4 touchdowns last week in that 35-20 victory against El Medina. So here we are for the Southern Division Championship. Canyon and Brea Olinda, kind of a Cinderella story for Brea Olinda and Canyon too, because of what they've been through this year. Competitive game, I think, this Saturday night.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. North Hills League.
Actually, Friday night, guys, sorry.
North Hills League teams, very interesting stuff going on. Brea had so many injuries early. I mean, they had like 20 guys down, early in the season, and it had a rocky start to it. And then, they got healthy. When they got healthy, they got good, and so they made a nice little run through the playoffs. As you're saying, beating Grove, who I think a lot of people thought was going to make it to the final, and Catella, the team that I thought was going to go too. They got beat by Canyon. Canyon's got a really good quarterback too, Jason Harmon. That team has a lot of offensive versatility. Canyon does, and play with a lot of confidence right now. That North Hills League, definitely the best league in that Southern Division, and playing all those teams, at the end of the year, playing those league games, they got all those guys ready for the playoffs. I think that's been quite evident.
All right, the plane flying overhead is our cue to toss to the interviews for the Wildcats and the Canyon Comanches. Here's what they had to say at the CIF luncheon.
It's always tough when you got to go back and play them again because you know each other pretty well, and Mike does a great job over there. They've got great kids. We're looking forward to a good game.
We need to come out fired up. In that game, it was week 10. We had already clinched playoffs, and they were playing for their survival. They needed that win to get to playoffs, and we kind of took them lightly, came out kind of soft, and they came out fired up, and they just whooped on us. So we're ready to – we feel like that wasn't – us when we played them back then. We're ready to show our true colors, and we're excited about this rematch.
Brea is a very good football team. We feel like our league is the best in the division, and kind of worked its way out. It kind of worked itself out that way this season. So we're looking forward to the challenge that Brea is, the opportunity that exists playing Brea, and so we're happy about that opportunity.
We put a lot of hard work this summer in the weight room and stuff like that, so now it's just trying to come through with it. We played some really good teams at the beginning of the year, like San Juan Hills, Edison, Villa Park, teams like that. So I think competition-wise, we played some really good competition. I think we're ready for any team that comes up. And Brea's a good team, but I think we'll be fine.
All right, our thanks to Canyon and Brea Olinda. Our final division we are going to preview is East Valley, where our guys Saddleback Valley Christian take on Grace Brethren of Simi Valley. Steve, I'll start with you. Grace Brethren of Simi Valley beat Brethren Christian last week, 46-41. Meanwhile, Saddleback Valley Christian beat Korean Lutheran 2014. You were around these coaches today. What's your take?
Well, interesting. One of the coach at Saddleback Valley Christian, Brendan Chambers, 27 years old? About as young as any coach that was in that room today.
A little younger than us.
He's also one heck of a quarterback and baseball player also at SVC not that long ago, playing for his father Gary over there. Saddleback Valley Christian, very interesting football team. Got a good quarterback. Henjum's a really good quarterback. That guy can throw the ball. And when you got a quarterback who can throw the ball as well as Henjum does, I think that makes a big difference in this small school thing. But I've heard a lot of things about Grace Brethren who've seen that team. Back even before the playoffs started, people were telling me, Grace Brethren, man, they're as close to untouchable as can be. Saddleback Valley Christian, they've beaten some good teams coming in. They beat St. Margaret's, right? Korean Lutheran. I mean, man, those are two good Academy League football teams. So Saddleback Valley Christian, they might get a ring out of this. And who knows, if they win this game, if there's any county team that might be playing in the regionals, the state playoff format, just might be Saddleback Valley Christian.
We will see. Dan, your final take.
Well, I sat with the Warriors at a luncheon, so I got to talk to them some more. You know, a couple guys got to watch out for. David Molina, their running back, linebacker, he got a sprained ankle in the first quarter last week against Korean Lutheran. But then Henjum came in, who, you know, we talked about last week. He had the foot injury. Henjum came in and played well, and it was really the defense. They had a real good defensive player in here, Jonathan Bunnell. Defensive end. He had 2 sacks against Korean Lutheran. This looks like a tough match for SVC. They're a little bit banged up, playing an undefeated team, so it's going to be a very tough game. But you know, I know, you know, Brethren had these guys on the ropes big time in the first half. You know, but I think there were some injury issues for Brethren in the second half. But I think SVC's got a real good chance to bring it home.
Yeah, we'll see what county teams make out of these championships, and we'll be there along for the ride as we go into the state regionals and the state championships, guys. So for all your latest football updates, check out OCVarsity.com, where we've got you covered.